In order for the Mets to be successful this season, a new core of players are going to have to step it up. Welcome back to another episode of the Mets Shit Pod. I'm your host, Mets Shitposting, and today I'm going to be looking at some numbers and breaking them down. So, obviously, we all lost Pete. We all lost Nimmo. Those were the big two heavy hitters, right? Let's be honest, nobody gives two shits about losing Jeff McNeil. I mean, he was absent for 3 years. He was terrible for 3 years. He had that great 2021 season when he won the batting title. But outside of that, after that at least, before that he was very good, but after that, it's just been downhill. I don't really care that he plays multiple different positions when he's not very good at any of them. So I'm taking the combined stats of Pete Alonso and Brandon Nimmo, and I'm spreading them out between Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez, and seeing what they need to do, what kind of season they need to have at the plate to make up for the runs that we lost with those two. So, obviously, the Mets made a slew of new additions. Bo Bichette, Luis Robert, Freddie Peralta, Marcus Semien, Polanco. Jorge Polanco. So, I already did an episode about their numbers, comparing them to the guys we lost. If you want to go check that out, I forget which one it was. I think it's the one before the one I did with my girlfriend. But now I'm going to be taking Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez because they're really the keys to the season. So if you look at your starting lineup, Lindor and Soto, that's obvious. That's two. Then it's going to be Robert, Polanco, Semien, Bichette, and those three. Did I say Polanco? So that's six. And then it's Baty, Vientos, Alvarez. Polanco's going to play first. Simeon's going to play second. Lindor, Bichette, Alvarez behind the plate. Probably Baty in left, Robert, and then Soto. And then DH. This is probably Vientos. So, a lot of this season weighs on what these three guys do. Similar to last year where the Mets put a lot of faith into Mark Vientos, and it didn't work. Vientos had a down year. He was negative in WAR. He couldn't defend. He really couldn't hit. Lost a lot of his power. He just struggled the whole year. The entire year, it was a struggle. Sophomore slump for Vientos. But I'm hoping that that's just what it was, a sophomore slump, right? And that's not uncommon. Players have their sophomore slump all the time. Corbin Carroll had a sophomore slump, and Corbin Carroll was great. But Baty's been on the track up, and Alvarez has to stay healthy. Those are two things that we have to hope stay on that track, right? Because obviously what I'm about to say is barring health and barring consistency. We've seen a steady progression from Baty, and we haven't seen a healthy season from Alvarez since 2023. So the big thing for these players individually is that Vientos needs to have a bounce back year, where even if he does, maybe he won't hit as well as he did in 2024, but he doesn't really have to, as long as it's not as bad as last year. Hopefully Baty stays consistent and gets on the rise, keeps staying on his steady pace, and Alvarez stays healthy. And so those are three constituents, I guess. No, what do you call those? Whatever the word for that is. Three reasons, I guess. Right. So barring health and barring consistency, right? This is what we need from both these guys. So last year, Pete and Nimmo combined for 314 hits, 63 home runs, 218 RBIs, 168 runs, 68 doubles, and 118 walks. So replacing about 60 home runs and about 200 RBIs. So about 200 runs. right, is what Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez need to replace. Because, well, they all had great individual seasons. Well, Baty at least. Baty had a great individual season. It started out rough, but he was on an incline. Right? Baty was terrible in the beginning of the year. I can't lie. I mean, Baty was terrible. It was awful. Everyone I know wanted Baty gone. I mean, there was a point where I was like, maybe he's just not it. Maybe it's just not going to work. And then he started proving me wrong. He plays great defense. Right? Alvarez was hurt. Came up, was awful. I mean, Alvarez was terrible those first few games. I mean, for a while, he was really bad. Then he got hurt again. And he came back, and he was very good. He was our best hitter. I mean, I think he hit a home run in his first game back. I think they were playing the Nationals. I think. Don't quote me on that. But Alvarez went down to the minors and came back hitting much better. I mean, I made a post the other day about his second half stats, and I think he was definitely the best hitter on the team. So, this is the post. His second half stats for Fransisco Alvarez. In 41 games, he had a 276 batting average, a 360 on base, a 561 slug, with a 921 OPS and 8 home runs. If he can stay that pace, obviously a 921 OPS is crazy and ridiculous, but if he can just stay consistent with the amount of home runs and just hit for even a little bit lower of an average throughout the whole year, he's going to make up for a lot of the runs that we lost. I mean, on a pace of 41 games, 8 home runs, doing the math, there's about 31 home runs. So if we can get 31 home runs out of Alvarez, that's half of what you lost with Pete and Nimmo. And I don't know about you, but I think Fransisco Alvarez, if he's fully healthy, again, has to stay healthy. That barring health, Fransisco Alvarez can definitely hit close to 30 home runs. I think Baty is probably the big question mark in the power area, just because I think Alvarez and Vientos are more power hitters, and Baty seems to be more of just like a pure hitter. But Vientos needs to also get his swing back and get back into a groove. Right? So like I said, Pete and Nimmo combined for 63 home runs and 218 RBIs. Dividing all those numbers by 3, it equates to 108 hits, 21 home runs, 72 RBIs, 56 runs, 23 doubles, and 39 walks. Meaning that, on average, Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez, they need to hit 21 home runs, have 72 RBIs each, score 56 runs, hit 200, hit 23 doubles, and 39 walks, and 108 hits. Right. So basically, they need to each contribute 72 RBIs. Which I think if they all have consistent playing time, which I expect them to, barring injury, and barring if they suck, right? I mean, if Vientos starts off if he has a slow start again, he might get traded at the deadline. There's a world where Vientos comes out of the gate just as bad as he did. His strikeout rate is high. He doesn't get on base. He's not walking. He's just kind of like useless in the DH spot, and they move him at the deadline. That's a very, very possible situation, right? But if Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez all hit at least 21 home runs, and obviously this is the average, right? So, like, Alvarez and Vientos could hit 30 each, and Baty could hit 3, and then you made up the amount of home runs that Pete and Nimmo hit. But obviously, that's probably not going to happen. But as long as they get close to that number, then I think that's a W for the Mets. Like, it's a win. This is also assuming that Bichette plays up to his hype. Obviously, Soto, Lindor, Simeon, Polanco, right? They all do what they're supposed to do. If they all do what they're supposed to do, what I mean by that is, like, as long as they don't come here and are absolutely terrible, like if Bichette sucks or if Polanco sucks, I mean, I don't expect much from Simeon at the plate, but he's more for defense. But if Robert just never gets it going, what these guys do really won't matter because I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like these guys, I'm saying that they need to make up for Pete and Nimmo because we lost those two guys. And those new guys have to make up for it too, but I want them to play their own game. I don't want them to make up for Pete and Nimmo. I mean, obviously, like, I do, but I don't. Like, I want Alvarez, Vientos, and Baty. These would be all great seasons for them. Even if they hit the averages, right? If I told you that Baty had 21 home runs, 72 RBIs, and like 23 doubles, that had 108 hits, that's a good season for Baty. For Vientos and Alvarez. I mean, that shows that Alvarez would stay healthy. That Vientos had a bounce back year. And Baty's kept going up with his progression. Right? So, this is really a big season for all of them. I mean, we expect a lot out of Baty. We expect him to keep growing and going up and not take a step back. Because if he didn't this year, I mean, he might be gone. He might still be gone. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of not a lot of talk around moving Baty, but for the right price. I mean, like, I know the Tigers were interested in him, so I mean, if the Tigers want Baty for school ball, I'd send him over in a heartbeat. Vientos might be gone this year if he doesn't perform. He had a great rookie year, terrible last season, and if he doesn't come out of the gate, or at least show any signs of doing good, he's going to get moved. And Alvarez, also, if he can't stay healthy and he can't stay on the field, and when he's on the field, he's not good, it might be time to question, like, what his future is as a catcher of the New York Mets. I mean, it's been, he came in 2023, and so it's been 3 years. And he had one fully healthy season where he hit 25 home runs. Since that, he's been hurt and he's had the struggles. So this is really it's a make or break year for, I want to say all three. I think Baty's the safest out of those three. Because Alvarez also had a bad step back defensively. I mean, he was always a pretty good defensive catcher, but he kind of he took a step back defensively. But Vientos, this is his make or break year for sure. He's got to step it up and prove something. He needs that swagger back, man. Like not last season, 2024, he was feeling himself. He was that guy. He was hitting bombs. He was feeling good. And last year he came out of the gate struggling, and he just seemed to kind of sink with him. Like I want Vientos to get that swagger back. I want him to be Swaggy V again. I want him to be hitting bombs and making good contact and just going to all fields. Really using that power to, like, right center. But last season was just such a struggle, and I think that he thought maybe he, like, was better, had a better season. Like, I don't want to say that he didn't work out in the off season, but I don't think he tried as hard as he did. I think he might be like, okay, I'm good. I'm hoping this year he kind of gets his ass in gear and is like, I was not good, obviously. And he's got to get back to that 2024 level. So I really hope he's been in the batting cages, whatnot. Same thing for Alvarez. I mean, Alvarez, if he just has to hit like he hit in the second half, a little bit, obviously throughout 162, he's not going to keep. I don't expect Fransisco Alvarez to have a 921 OPS. That would be ridiculous. But I want him to not have a 600 OPS like he had before he got sent back down. And Baty, I just want Baty to keep playing good defense and have a steady progression. Like, Baty should hit 20 home runs this year. He had 18 last year, and that was while he was struggling. And for 2 months, I think he got called up, like June-ish. I think he got called back up in June, about then. And he came back, and he was a different hitter. I mean, and Alvarez came back, different hitter. Vientos was hurt, and he went back down, and I don't know why. I guess it didn't click for him. because when they sent Baty down to work on his swing and really get him going, he came back a much better hitter. Same thing with Alvarez. I mean, Alvarez was chasing balls like 10 feet out of the strike zone, swinging in the dirt, swinging the pitches above his head, swinging for the fences. And when he came back, he was just putting the bat to the ball, getting singles, doubles, really just driving the ball all fields. And he looked so much better. It was like night and day from when he got sent back down to when he came back up. Alvarez looked like a completely different player. So I'm hoping that they stay consistent with that, and they finally found something that made him click in the major leagues, right? Because we all know that they were great in the minors. I mean, Baty hits. If Baty was a career minor leaguer, he'd probably break all the records. He had probably 50 home runs a year and would bat 400. Now, but when he got to the majors, it just never really clicked. And now, if it's clicking for him, if the pitches are coming in a little bit slower to him, if he's processing them better and putting bat to the ball, it's going to make Pete and Nimmo's departure seem a little bit more easier to take if they can make up for their run production. Now, obviously, they were on the team last year, so I'm not saying they have to do double, right? I don't have to say they have to make up for their production and Pete and Nimmo's production, but I expect the new guys that come in to be better than Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez production last year. Right, so I expect Bichette, Polanco, and Robert to be better than Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez were last year. And then Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez can make up for Pete and Nimmo's production. Then you have more RBIs, more runs, a more well-rounded team, a better team. This last year they struggled at different points. They were very inconsistent. But the biggest thing for them this year is just consistency. Vientos has to be consistent, and he has to be better. Flat out, Vientos has to be better, or his ass is gone. Alvarez has to stay healthy. He's got to stay on the field. There's got to be some kind of gloves you can wear. I mean, normal batting. Maybe they could put like a fucking metal plate on the back of his hand. Who knows? I'd probably sound like a fucking idiot saying that, but there's got to be something they could do. Stop him from breaking his fucking hand every 2 minutes. And Baty can't take a step back. Baty has to have a steady progression. He has to. I'm not saying he has to have like a 5 WAR, but he had a 3. I think his WAR was 3.1. It's got to be maybe a 3.5. Let just get better. Just keep getting better. If they all hit 21 home runs, 72 RBIs each, they're going to make up for the run production of Pete and Nimmo. And yet it's 3-2. But we all know that there's no replacing Pete's bat. I mean, we didn't keep Pete for his defense, obviously. Pete was a monster. And Nimmo was too. I mean, 25 home runs. Like, they're both great hitters. They're both going to be missed dearly because they're homegrown guys. They're going to miss them. We're going to miss their at-bats. We're going to miss Pete mashing home runs. We're going to miss Nimmo mashing. I mean, Nimmo got to be hitting home runs. We're going to miss their production on offense. But to say that it's impossible to make up is just stupid. It's very possible. So, Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez have to establish themselves as the new homegrown core. Because what David Stearns is doing, like, he's keeping guys on short-term deals. So I think what his plan is that he's going to have this core of Lindor and Soto, obviously, and then the guys with the control, which is Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez, to hopefully step up and hopefully develop them more and keep them progressing, and they become the new core. Right? I mean, obviously Pete and Nimmo, again, are going to be hard to make up their production. But Alvarez was the number one prospect in baseball at one point. Who's to say that he can't slug 40 home runs one year? Who's to say Vientos can't? I mean, he hit 27 in 100-something games. And who's to say Baty can't? I mean, I don't think Baty's going to ever hit 30 home runs, but he could be a consistent bat. Like, these guys are still young. They're still so young. And I think they're going to be the new core of the New York Mets. It's going to be those three and Soto. I hope it's them for a long time. I really do. But again, like, if Vientos is not doing good, he's going to get traded. If Alvarez doesn't have a good year, it might be over for him. And if Baty takes a huge step back, it might be time to consider what to do with Brett Baty, you know. And then you have Carson Bench and AJ Ewing, Nick Morbido. Like, we have this young core now of Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez. And if it doesn't work, there's another one waiting behind. We still have Soto, and we still have a few more good years of Lindor. But I think that the plan for David Stearns' eyes is that these young guys are going to have to step up. And I don't say I fully expect them to, because it's going to be tough. But it's different. It's just different. I mean, we never won with Pete and we never won with Nimmo. As much as we love them, we never won. So why not try something different? You know, the stats probably won't jump out at the sheet. But if you win a game by 1 run or 10 runs, it doesn't matter. And so, what I'm trying to say, if these guys don't make up for their production, right, they don't have the amount of home runs, RBIs that they do, but they come up more clutch in certain situations. Like, Vientos has a clutch gene in him. He really does. And I hope he can really turn on this year. Because we all saw it in 2024. He's got the clutch gene in him. And if Baty and Alvarez can find that and just come through with some solid hits and some big RBIs and big spots, those big RBIs and big spots are much more valuable than, like, Pete hitting a grand slam in the 8th inning when you're up by 4, you know, or Nimmo hitting a home run when you're already up or you're losing by 10, right? The numbers that I crunched for Pete and Nimmo, they don't take into account game situation. I mean, 218 RBIs. Nimmo hit 9 in one game against the Nationals where the Mets won 19-2. Right? Like, how valuable are those runs or those RBIs? I'd rather, you know, if Baty hits 60 RBIs, but 30 of them are like go ahead or game winning or game tying RBIs, that seems better than me than, you know, hitting 100 RBIs, but only a few of them mean anything. Right? If that makes sense. Trying to think what else I can say. I do want to talk about David Stearns' philosophy, because the more that I think about it, the more I like it. I had some time at work today to kind of just sit and think. I was pretty bored. I was like, you know what? Like, I was thinking about the Phillies. For some reason, I was thinking just like, you know, losing Pete, losing Nimmo sucks, but again, we never won with them, blah, blah, because my boss talked to me about the Mets, and I was just kind of thinking after he left, you know. And, like, the Phillies are a great example of what we would have been if we re-signed Pete, kept Nimmo, and Diaz. The Phillies peaked in 2022 going to the World Series with this roster. The Phillies roster is great, and I fully expect them to. I think the Phillies are going to win the division again. There's no reason why they won't, barring a huge collapse. I mean, Bryce Harper is still very good. Trey Turner's been a top shortstop in the league for a while now. Who else do I have? Real Muto is a good catcher. Schwarber, second MVP. Wheeler, Cy Young candidate every year. Christopher Sanchez, Cy Young candidate this year. Aaron Nola, he's been struggling, but when he's on, he's a very good pitcher. They don't have Suarez anymore, but the bullpen's always been a big problem with them. But I think they have Duran for this year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they do. So like, they're a good team, but they peaked and they've been regressing. Like, that core has been regressing since the World Series. I mean, I think they went to the World Series 2022. If I'm not mistaken, they lost in the NLCS in 2023, the Diamondbacks. Yeah, I think, lost in LCS. They lost to us in the wild card, in the NLDS in 2024, and they lost in the wild card this year. So this is a very linear regression from World Series loss to NLCS loss to NLDS loss to wild card loss. So I mean, if they keep going at this pace, they might not make the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. But I mean, all signs indicate that they will. I mean, if you want to go that route of, well, they've been steadily regressing. And when you see that, on paper, and you don't make any, big changes, what's the point? Right? The definition of crazy is doing something over and over again and thinking it's going to work. They had their peak. They had their championship window. And I think if I was a Phillies fan, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, this core is just rotten. They're getting older. What are we doing here? As much as I love the guys that we had, we were kind of in the same position. I mean, we had them for 7 years, and our peak was the NLCS. As much as it sucks, we didn't even win the NLCS. We got knocked out in it. With the NLDS. As much as it sucks, I've kind of gotten over it. And I'm happy with the direction that we're going in because I do like David Stearns' philosophy of we're not going to build the best team for the future. We're not going to worry too much about the future. Okay, that might sound that's not what I mean, but his philosophy seems that I'm going to build the best team for 2026. I'm going to build the best team for 2027. Right? He's going to see what was wrong in that season and then add and subtract and see who they can plug and play in each spot. I think I saw a report today that they were worried of having Nimmo and Soto both in the corner outfields. They're going to have to DH at some point because they're both terrible defensively. So being able to move Nimmo was a huge part in the offseason. And it makes sense. I mean, think about it. We all know that Soto's going to have to DH at some point. And we all know that Nimmo would have to DH at some point. And then you put Pete in there. Pete's terrible defensively. So you're going to have 3 DHs at one point. And it would have worked. It would have kind of just been this clusterfuck at DH. And then that would make your team worse because now you'd be forced to play guys that are bad on defense. And, I mean, Pete's terrible defense. He derailed Kodai Senga's season. Nimmo has been at defense, And Soto, we all know, is not very good at defense. As much as people kind of scoff at that, it's it's defense, baseball, everyone just looks at the offensive stats. It is a big part of the game. And, I might sound dumb saying that, but whenever people compare baseball players, it's always offense. Always look at the batting average, OPS. Never be he's, very good Gold Glove. You're not going to compare Aaron Judge's career to Nolan Arenado because Arenado is amazing defensively. And Judge is one of the best hitters we've seen in years. But who's to say that Arenado isn't better because he plays better defense? I don't know. I'm kind of just ranting at this point. My point is doing the same thing over and over again, running that same team back with a certain core, with the same team, same core. You have a window, whether you believe it or not. Teams have windows to win. The Phillies window was 2022. Then it was 2023. You go right back after. You run it back with the same team. That's when it's acceptable. You made the World Series. Okay, run it back. And then you lost the NLCS. And then, okay, let's run it back one more time. We made it to NLCS. You got knocked out in the NLDS. Then, okay, we decided to run it back again, and you got knocked out in the wild card round. So, it's just trending downwards. Where do you expect them to go? I mean, with the Mets, it was different because there's always okay, can we get there? We just need some pitching. Can we get there? We just need some more hitters. Can we get there? It was always just trying to get there. And we did 2024, but besides that, no, we didn't. I mean, 2022, we somehow won 100 games with that roster, and we got knocked down the wild card. So it's not like we made high and kept going down. We were always trying to get there, and we had faith in our guys that they would eventually break through, but they never did. But with the Phillies, like, they made it, and they're steadily regressing. They're going backwards. And they're like, yeah, no, we're good. We're not going to change anything, which to me is kind of crazy. I do think they're a good team. Again, they're going to win 90-plus games. And everyone's going to be afraid of the Phillies when it comes to the playoffs. I'm not. I like, the Mets have kind of had the Phillies number, so have the Braves have our number. But the Phillies don't scare me as a team anymore, and at least not anymore. I mean, they've shown they're regressing, that they're going backwards. And they're not getting any younger. Harper certainly isn't. Realmuto certainly isn't. Schwarber's a DH, so he doesn't even attribute to defense. But after the rest of that lineup, like, it's not that good. It's a scary top three with Schwarber, Harper, and Turner. I guess Realmuto at the bottom of the order. But after that, I mean, they got Adolis Garcia, who's been. I guess Adolis Garcia is their Luis Robert. I mean, high ceiling, maybe change of scenery kind of guy. But I don't think it's crazy of me to say that. I think Soto, Lindor, and Bichette is better than Harper, Turner, and Schwarber right now. I don't know. I mean, does that seem crazy? I think we have the best 1, 2, 3 in our division. I think the Phillies are just more of a complete team. They have much better pitching. I mean, Wheeler, Sanchez, and Nola. But I mean, batting wise, like, Brandon Marsh kind of sucks. Castellanos sucks. Who they got at second base? Stott, like, he's a slap hitter. Bohm is fucking terrible. Who's Edmundo Sosa? Edmundo Sosa? Am I saying that right? Sosa, whatever the fuck his name is. He's not that good. I mean, the lineup is kind of dog shit. If you ask me, I mean, 2022 they were better. They were all in their prime. I mean, Harper was still in his prime. Turner was still in his prime. Schwarber was still Schwarber is still in his prime. Like, I'm not saying these guys are out of their prime. They're outdated. But they were much better 4 years ago than they are now. They're much better chemistry than they are now. I mean, Castellanos was much better 4 years ago. Wheeler was healthy 4 years ago. Like, this team they're getting older, and they're regressing. They're showing steady signs of regression. So to me, I'm happy that David Stearns kind of came in, let the team run out in 2024, made some small moves, got some pitching. They did their run. Kind of almost forced to run it back this year, because how do you break up a team that went to the NLCS? You know what I mean? And then after this collapse, it was finally his time to be like, okay, I'm doing this shit my way. We're going to, build a different team. We're going to shake up the core. I'm going to break it up. Because they haven't won. Bottom line. I mean, that's all we care about. In every sport. Met fan, Yankee fan, Islanders, Rangers, Giants, Jets, Knicks, Nets. All you want to do is win. You don't care how you fucking do it. It doesn't matter if it's with homegrown guys or with guys from free agency. Like, I mean, I don't know any Dodger fans, truly Dodger fans, but I'm sure if you ask them, they don't give two fucks if they signed everybody. I mean, they've won back-to-back World Series. You think they give a shit that it's not with homegrown guys. I mean, this will have some, like Pa has some Will Smith, but, they won. They've been winning with Betts and Freeman and Ohtani. Like, they don't give a fuck how they do it. So why should we? Bichette's more clutch, proven postseason hitter. Polanco's more clutch, proven postseason hitter. Simeon, proven postseason hitter. And Robert is an X factor who could have, even if he doesn't have a 2023 type season, which I don't think he is, I hope he just kind of has close to that. Hope he hits at least 20 plus home runs and hits for maybe a high average and steals bases. If he gets on base, he's going to steal. And he's going to play Gold Glove level defense. And that's at the bare minimum Right? Carson Bench is also an X factor. If we have him. So to me, the lineup, like we replace our homegrown guys with dudes that are proven clutch. They're more clutch. Pete is clutch. Like I'm not saying that Pete's not clutch, but Nimmo, it was like McNeil wasn't. And I don't know if you guys remember, but that whole 2024 season, some of us wanted Pete gone. If Pete doesn't hit that home run in Milwaukee, he's off the team. They weren't going to re-sign him anyway. That home run bought him another year, and we almost didn't even get him. We got him back on a 1-year deal because his value wasn't high. I mean, he had his rookie season. He hit home runs, but he had a terrible 2023, and he didn't have a good 2024. Again, if he doesn't hit that home run in Milwaukee, he wasn't a Met last year. And he obviously had a great season because he wanted to get paid. And that's another thing. Like, Bichette's on a 1-year deal. He's going to want to get paid. He's going to play his ass off. Simeon is a great defender. Luis Robert, he's going to be a free agent. I think the Mets have a club option on him for next year, but he's still fairly young. He could be a free agent at 30. You don't think Robert wants to put up some crazy numbers in New York in a big market and get paid? I do. Polanco's on a 2-year deal. I think we're going to get average out of Polanco, but I mean, Bichette and Robert are playing to get paid, and we've seen a common trend in baseball where guys that are playing to get paid, they play pretty fucking well. I mean, look at Pete. Look at Kyle Tucker. Look at there's probably a few more, but like, you know what I'm saying. Like the guys on improver deals, they're gonna want to play better, and I fully believe that Bichette's going to give it his all, and that Robert is going to really have a turnaround season. And you look at Vientos, Alvarez, and Baty, they want to save their jobs. I mean, again, like Alvarez could be off this team next season. Vientos could be off the team this year at the deadline. And Baty, who knows? Maybe he gets traded. So I think that overall, well, I lost the plot of this episode. I was trying to make up the numbers between Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez, and Pete and Nimmo. But if you're still upset about getting rid of Alonso and Nimmo, I understand you. I'm not trying to be non-sympathetic. Whatever. I'm trying not to be. I want to be a dick. I don't want to be a dick and be like, "You're stupid." Like this team is better. Like I understand, and they're very good arguments. Like I've been, fighting with myself for months now of like, yeah, but Pete hit 40. He's going to hit 40 home runs, and Nimmo is going to hit 25, and he's going to get on base in this log. Like, okay, who gives a shit about defense? But then, like, you sit back and you hear the reasons, and you look at other teams. Like, Bichette's a good ball player. Robert could be a good ball player. Polanco's a good ball player. Simeon's a good ball player. I mean, Nimmo never made an all-star team, and I think all these guys made an all-star team. Let me see. Let me back that up really quick. Let me look up. Did Bo Bichette make an all-star team? Bo Bichette stats. He had to have. 2-time all-star. Let's see. Marcus Simeon. 3-time all-star. I don't think Polanco made one. Polanco made an all-star game. And Robert definitely made it for 2023. Yeah, so we replaced Pete, Nimmo, and McNeil with 4 all-star players. That sounds pretty good to me. I mean, Pete was the only one that was making all-star games. I mean, McNeil made one, but that was 2019, 2021, whatever it was. So they're better. They're better. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this team is I think it's better than last year, definitely. And we got Freddie Peralta now. Like, I didn't even fucking mention him, Freddie Peralta. And if Devin Williams can have a bounce back year, and Luke Weaver can just be better. I mean, he had a full year to recover from his injury. I don't think Kodai Senga is going to be as bad as he was. He was coming back from an injury. Sean Manaea was fighting an injury the whole year. I don't think he's going to be as bad as he was. Peterson and Holmes finally had a full workload. And Clay Holmes had a great season last year. Let's not act like Clay Holmes was not a good pitcher last year. Clay Holmes was our most consistent pitcher at one point. So, I understand the arguments and the feelings about Pete and Nimmo being homegrown and Pete's production, which is obviously going to be missed. But you look at this team and you look at the bottom line of they never won. They were not on track to win. They had a terrible, terrible collapse. The almost unprecedented collapse. Like, how do you look at that and be like, we're just going to run back the same team? I can't. You know, like, not anymore, at least. The initial shock hurt. I mean, the initial shock of, you know, getting the Jeff Passan tweet of Pete Alonso goes to Baltimore and Nimmo traded to the Texas Rangers, right? That shit sucked. And the feeling at first was total shock. But now that this team is kind of coming together, I see the direction. And Bo Bichette is a top free agent. Guys, Bo Bichette's very fucking good. He's a more consistent hit. He hits 300. Like, he's going to hit for average, and he's very clutch. Polanco, his OPS with runners in scoring position is like over 900. How do you not want that? I mean, think of all the years we've been sitting here and bitching and yelling at our TVs of them leaving guys on base. Like, someone leads off with a double and we can't get them home. Or even a triple. Or this fucking bases loaded, no outs, and we can't get a fly, or we just get a fly ball and one run. Like, I just want you to think of all the times that the Mets have not gotten runners in scoring position home when there's like no outs or one out. It's frustrating. It's infuriating. And the guys that we bought in are better at that. On the other podcast I did, Nimmo, Alonso, and McNeil hit 235 with the runners in scoring position. And Bichette, Polanco, and Simeon hit 285. And it's not even counting Robert if he has a bounce back year. It's a fucking what? 50 point? No, I'm terrible at math. A 50-point difference. That's a lot to me. It should be a lot to you. Again, like, I don't want to say, like, it's a good argument. I see both sides. I mean, I was on your side. But I'm fully aboard the new team. I think this is a 90-win baseball team. I hope this doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. But, I mean, 2022, look at that roster. I'm going to look at that roster right now and tell you. Let me look at the 2022 New York Mets roster. And you tell me if this sounds like a 100-win team. 2022, the Mets won 101 games and lost the fucking... How the fuck do you win 101 games to lose the fucking division? That's horseshit. That's just the Mets fucking luck, man. Starting catcher, Tomas Nido and James McCann. Ass. Both of them. Fucking terrible. Pete had a good year. McNeil had a good year. Lindor. Eduardo Escobar had a good year. But Bo Bichette's better at third base. Mark Canha had a good year. Starling Marte and Vogelback and Nimmo. I mean, I think that this team sounds better. You're replacing Nido with Alvarez, hopefully fully healthy. Polanco with Pete. Simeon with McNeil. Bichette with Escobar. And whoever plays left field, whether that's Baty, whether that's Benj. And Juan Soto in right field instead of Marte. And then DH between either Baty, Vientos, or whoever. And the bench is better. Guillorme, J.D. Davis, James McCann, Dom Smith, Tyler Naquin, Darren fucking Ruff. I'm not even going to go into Darren Ruff. We all know my stance and opinion on Darren Ruff. I have a hall of ass named after him. Baty, Vientos, and Alvarez were rookies, and they didn't do shit. So, this team is better. This team is better than the 2022 team. And that 2022 team won 100 plus games. So, and I know Simeon, Bichette, and these guys are good clubhouse guys, which is a problem last year. Which more and more seems to be coming out about that. But that's an episode for another time. I think I've gone on for too long. Actually, before starting this episode, I was like, I don't know how long this is going to be. I really don't have a lot to talk about. And I just went on a fucking rant for however long it was. I don't even know when I started this. Let me see. I guess 30 minutes ago. Fuck, more than 30 minutes ago. But hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe, stay warm. If you guys are in New York or the tri-state area right now, it is fucking freezing. It's like 8 degrees out right now. It's terrible. It's so cold I don't want to go outside. I was going to go to the gym, and then I fell asleep, and I couldn't go to the gym because my gym closed at 6, which is really annoying. But anyways, stay safe, stay warm. Hope this fuck-ass snow clears out soon. Spring training starts in 12 days now. I think pitchers and catchers report pretty soon. I think, pitchers and catchers report in 12 days. Spring training starts right after that, and then, we're off, baby. That's it. I am actually excited to watch spring training this year. Now that I'm more, versed in the Mets farm system, I'm excited to watch Benj and Ewing and Morbido and see these guys. So that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, stay safe, stay warm, and let's go Mets.